Hi, Mike Nehra from Vintage King Audio with Robin Porter from AMS Neve. And Robin, you're coming out with a super exciting 500 series compressor, actually at the AES show to be released here. And you know, it's kind of been a pet project of mine with you, and we've been going back and forth with this one for maybe half year. It's you know, the beginning of starting to get the 1073ALB out, then the EQ, now this one, the end of the trilogy of the 500 series. And what's so impressive about it when I look at it, the build quality is stunning, the layout and so on. You know, it's what you'd expect from a Neve product in that price range and so on, or whatever the price range is. It's just beautifully designed and built. But equally and most importantly, when we compared it to the original 2264 and 32264, 33609 in a local studio we here in Detroit, using Detroit called Rust Belt with engineer friend of mine, Al Sutton, we were blown away how close. I mean, honestly, in blindfold tests, I couldn't tell what was the original and what was this, and it's coming out of the baby 500 format. So, hats off to you on that one, my friend. You got that right, and I think, you know, Robin really worked hard on this one it took months to get this thing, you know, to all fit in this size and be so close to the original, because that was so important to all of us. And then above all, adding the slow attack switch. So, you know, we all love the fast attack of the unit on tracking and, you know, certain back bus work and lead vocals and so on. But to have an extra slow attack with the unit, say for mix mode, to be able to have that feature added, and again in this small format, was another great thing you did. So tell us a little about, from your end of it, you know, your background on it and so on.
Well, I think looking around at what compressors, what we could do, I wanted to try and make this compressor sort of fit in with that technology of the 500 series that we'd had, really. I think that I looked at the 2254E and just thought to myself, that's absolutely impossible. It's unfortunate, but it's impossible. But then I thought to myself, well, the 2264 and the 2264A, they are as good, if not better. I mean,
better. They're amazing.
I think you know, the 2254 has that classic Class A sound, you know, and I think it's slower. Right. Even though the tack times and stuff like that might be the same as the 2264, but it just sounds slower to me. It's
gluier, but the 2264 is tighter and punchier.
That's right.
And it's just sets things right where you want them.
That's right. So I decided on that, but then it became, you know, it was a really difficult job to get all of that in. Now, I could have cut some corners, but I decided not to, and I started to stick with it. So, you know, it has all of the ingredients that is in the 2264. It has, you know, the line input transformer. It has the proffer. It has the FET buffer, which recovers the signal after the diode bridge, and then it has the mic transformer to get a little bit more free gain. And then, of course, you've got the output amplifier, which is, you know, it's sort of like it's a 340 type amplifier with a bias pot, and then you just drive in the flat pack transformer, just like the 2264.
Just the old school. Yeah. And if I can interrupt if you don't mind, the 2264 is the 32264, which is the 32264A.
Effectively, because they're all the same.
Sure.
You know,
and the 33609. It's all the same basic principle circuit card. Okay.
Yeah, that's right. With all the subtle differences that go with it. You know,
different knobs, buttons, and
I mean later on 33609s have 640 output amplifiers and stuff like that. But it's intrinsically the same. I've stuck to, you know, it's the same type of components used. It has values and stuff like that used in the side chain as well. And what I've done though is to get it into that form factor, I'm using a dual concentric, where I'm using the outer knobs as the recoveries for the limit and the recoveries for the compression, and to set the compression ratio. And then the inner ones are to do the limit threshold the compression threshold and the gain makeup. And they also have push button switches on the
grey knobs,
on the inner ones that will switch the limiter in and out, switch the compressor in and out, and do linking for using the stereo in tandem.
So basically, all the functionality, and this was so impressive, is it's all identical.
Yes.
You have the optional slow attack, which is people pay us to mod their units. You know, they send them in to do that, but this comes with it. You know, we've modded 2264s, 32264s, and A's, 33609s to add fast attack. Well, this thing's going to have it right on it. And I love on the, you know, obviously you couldn't fit all of that and have a VU meter, but you have a nice LED segment, right? Yeah. And you've added, I noticed, an extra LED on the left, the two. Yeah. So you can be a little more sensitive. Give me a little bit background on that.
Well, if you actually look at when you're using a 2264 and you're using it on very, very subtle compression, then the meter doesn't move. It doesn't move, even though you can perceive there's some compression going on, but it won't move. So it takes a bit to get it started. I mean, once you're in serious compression or once you're in serious limiting, then it's a fine meter, and it will tell you exactly, you know, what's happening.
Where you want to be. Yeah.
But I decided to add the two because I wanted to be able to indicate, you know, that you've got some subtle compression and that the thing was working and it was doing what it should do. And it's giving you
real delicate signals.
So it's giving you a decent feedback. I mean, the rest of it is, as you can see from the layout, it's calibrated exactly, you know, like the meter is at +4, +8, +16.
And what's cool about it is it feels this. You know, we first put it in, if the meter feels like, you know, it's not a ppm, but it has the same feel kind of. Yeah. And you know, as I'm so familiar with the old one, that I was doubtful that the LED would be as helpful, but it really is, because the way you set the range and so on. And also I noticed on the gain, the range of the threshold, the output, it feels good and it feels similar to the old the range.
Yeah, I mean as you know, the old 2264 had stepped attenuators for the thresholds for the
output,
everything, whereas we've got pots here, but the range is still the same. You know, we have not changed that at all. So you will get that same feel as you got from the old compressor of the old 2264. And also, I've tried really hard to choose to get pot manufacturer to make me a resistance curve which follows, you know, what the curve
of the
original as close as I can, so that the spot checks around the dial are near enough, you know, the same or not far away from it, because the pot's obviously going to be, I mean, there's no, you know, the pot's going to be not be as accurate as a
stepped attenuator,
but it's going to be where you need it, and you know. And
it's impressive how much attention to detail you paid on that, and it really shows the payoff in the end. And I can't tell you any more of that. And I also think in terms of just the overall tonality of it, the transformers, the in and out, it's balanced in and out. It just sounds every bit along the same line.